kind of morning-ish. Welcome into twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads. My name is Graham Day, and I'm joined by Milo. Hi, Milo. And I'm joined by Bibby as well, I suppose. Hi, Bib.
Big steaming pie.
I'll read, Bib.
Hello there.
Wagwan. Yeah, I'll read.
How we doing?
Yeah,
yes. I mean, it's not quite as late as it was on Monday, but we are obviously still past the 10 o'clock mark.
Nah, it's 10 a.m.-ish. It's easy dubs. Easy dubs, 10 a.m. Welcome in, everyone. Cookies was in nice and early. How you doing? Lakes is blah, blah, blah. Clickbait. I think you'll find that's not correct. It's clickbait.
Yes.
It's different.
Confirmed.
Mate, sorry, right? He puts all the effort in. Give him the credit he deserves. Clickbait. It works. You're here. West says flaps, which I mean, that's all the real input we needed into the stream, to be
outrageous.
Fair. Yeah. Anyway, welcome in. If you don't know who we are, my name is Graham. I have a dog on my lap today who has been chilled out and sleeping until I started the stream, and now he's just like, yeah, I must get up and look around and get in the way. So
my name is Optimus Prime.
His name is Optimus Prime. Enix, thank you for the 32 months. How are you subbing? Did you not just sub like just the other day? I swear you dropped some like freestyle rap on us the other day. Was it not even 8 days
ago? It does me though. So like if it's a day before your subscription runs out, you can do it, or you can subscribe, but then you can do the message next time to trigger the alert.
Okay, well, we got the message last time, and now we just got the Optimus Prime this time. So 8 days ago, he did the Yito Machito, Despacito, MLG No Scope on the Rope Bro. We did this the other day, so I'll leave it there. Thank you very much for 32 months, Enix. Optimus Arcade, yeah. Great invention, Flaps, especially for the envelope and letterbox world. It's weird how it works. It basically gives me a prompt 8 days before I can resubscribe. Well, do you know what? You get your money's worth. 32 months you've been around here, so you might as well get to flex that bad boy. Skadoosh. We appreciate that. Anyway, for everyone else, if you missed it, I was saying, my name's Graham. This is Bib. This is Milo, and we are Ice Cream Uploads. And in true Ice Creamy fashion, this is The Scoop, the UK's #1 video game podcast. If we do say so ourselves, we are live on twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads, where we go live each and every single weekday, apart from yesterday, at 10 a.m. Ish. Yeah. At the moment, it's kind of a busy period. We've got multiple irons in fires, as we tend to always have. So there's been a few episodes, particularly when we're both in the office, that might drop off. Like yesterday, for example, we didn't know until late on in the afternoon that we wouldn't have had time to squash in the scoop. So we apologise for not being there yesterday, but we are here today. So nice. Anyway, we do go live, and we aim to go live each and every single weekday on Twitch, but the live stream is turned into a podcast. We will bring you the biggest, the best, and breaking stories of the world of video games. We'll give you our thoughts and impressions. We want to hear your thoughts and impressions, and then your thoughts and impressions on our thoughts and impressions. Hi, Milo. Hi.
I'm just really trying to hide yawn in here.
It's fine. Go for it. Let it out.
No, I am not being screen capped with my mouth open. That's a rookie. That is a rookie mistake if ever I'd seen one.
Just open my mouth. Oh no. So yeah, the live stream is turned into a podcast, a video on YouTube and an audio podcast on iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, and Google Play. So if you are in the stream on Twitch, please do feel free to get involved on behalf of the 200,000 plus beautiful people that have watched and listened to this podcast on demand on iTunes and Spotify and what, I don't even know what it's called now. Is it just Amazon Podcasts, or is it Spotify Podcasts?
So it used to be Anchor.fm, which would then distribute it out to everything, including like your Amazon Music and things like that. However, they've been bought out now by Spotify, so it's called Spotify for Podcasts, Podcast for Spotify or something like that, which does the exact same job that Anchor does. It just it's the one place, and then the RSS feed fires off to everything. So yeah, you can find us on the likes
all
of
the
Amazon
places.
Music and stuff. Yeah, all your good podcast services, you'll find this podcast.
Goddamn right. Before we jump into things, a couple of reminders. Do feel free to join our Discord, !Discord in the chats for a couple of things. First of all, you get content from us. You can chat with us. Nice. But then you will also get giveaways. Just this week, we've given away a few codes to Figment to Creed Valley. We gave 5 codes for that away just the other day. Those have been dispersed. But not only that, you don't just find ICU in the ICU Discord now. You will have probably seen, if you follow us on Twitter, and if you don't, why not? That last night we announced that Lotus now takes up residence in the ICU Discord. If you don't even know who Lotus is, then check yourself, !Lotus, in the chat. To celebrate that, not only does Lotus now have a space in the Discord, but can I do it? Yeah. Bah! Smashed into the chat. Nice. We also have had a couple of emotes for Lotus in the stream. Money! Here he is. Woo! The goats. It's actually a dog, mate.
Can't be meaning me then.
No, I think it's a dog. It's not a goat, mate. Is he calling you a goat? Oh no! How's Tricks, man? How's things? How's the family? How's the little one? I say little one. We've been through lockdowns and stuff, so it's probably like 15 years old now or something like that.
Oh, absolutely. It's starting 7-aside. You'll see him under the radar this weekend.
Absolutely. Nice. How we doing, dude? I'm glad you're here. Family all good? How are you guys? Yeah, we good. I mean, me and Bibby had a big fallout. We had like a big. It was like WWE versus like WCW. Bibby was WCW, obviously. So smashed. I don't even know where I'm going with this. Free giveaways, you say? Yes, in the Discord. So yeah, no, we're all good. Thank you very much. Thank you, Milo. Where are you going? Come back here. Big esports announcements coming from me soon. Ooh. What we saying, Enix? What we saying? Give us.
Is it exclusive?
Yeah, give us the sneak peek. I mean, you're on the scoop. You are live. The audience wants to know. Can't say. You might as well. You've pretty much just said it all entirely now, so you might as well just give us the scoop. Give us the scoop. There you go. We're waiting. But yeah, as I was saying, do feel free to jump into the Discord. We gave a bunch of codes away the other day. We also have Lotus in the Discord now. He has jumped into the ASU Discord. He has his own Discord server, but rather than using the time off stream to maintain his own server, he doesn't really want to do that, which is understandable. It's a lot of effort. That's why I get Bibby to do all the work, take all the credit, as always, with everything. So yeah, Lotus has jumped into our Discord server so he can spend more time focusing on the stream. So please do feel free to check out the Discord. The Triggermeister. Nice. Thank you so much for Figs 2. Are you enjoying it? Have you played it? What's your thoughts? Because we have no hashtag ad, hashtag spawn, hashtag promo for that. We just got some codes for free and thought rather than keeping them for ourselves, we might as well share them with people in the Discord. So let me know if you like it. I'd never heard of it before then. So yeah.
I'm looking forward to the other one, that King of the Castle one. That I'm genuinely looking forward to streaming that bad boy.
Yeah, remind me. When we're done, I'll give you the code. Yeah.
Good.
As a free giveaway winner, I'd like to say to the other participants, suck it.
Just coming in with the DX chop. Pow.
There you go. You stay there. Okay, nice. Let me jump into the split screen.
Shall we tell people what we've got for the loot drop this week, which is on Monday? We haven't advertised it yet.
I can't remember what it is. I know we spoke
about it. I can tell you what it is.
Go on then, Bib. Tell me and everyone else. It says you're at Bibby's home. I'll change that whilst you tell us.
So, ladies and gentlemen, as you very well know, if you are a subscriber of this channel, every single Monday, or the first Monday of the month, shall we say, is Loot Drop Day. So if you are a subscriber, you get to go into the Wheel of Fortune. We get it spun on an episode of The Scoop, and then we can find out who the winner is. You will be given, usually it's a game of your choice, but we have been provided this time round with a code from 2K for a PlayStation 5 edition of WWE 2K23. So yes, you can get involved and you can get that one if you are a subscriber, which we will then run on Monday after 3 p.m. So it might not be during the Scoop, depending on what time we actually go live with it. But after 3 p.m. on Monday, we will close the subscriber cut off for that point, put you all in a wheel and get that spun for you guys. So one of you lucky devils could be winning a copy of 2K23 WWE.
Nice. And then if you win it, you can wrestle us in game to win the ICU title belt. You can't really. We're not really going to let you have that because
this is bullshit. Rigged.
This is bullshit. Rigged. Yeah. No comment. Milo, what are you doing? Do you want to get down onto the floor? Is that what it is? Do you want to chill out down there? Okay, we'll sort it right out. I'll upload the ice cream belt so you can. Exactly. That's a good point. Just this morning, Spike, I saw. So if you missed it, last year's WWE, Spike, or was it last year's or was it the year before? Time flies. Last year, Spike put the ICU title into WWE 2K. This year, he's done it again. So, Spike, if you've got the link to the tweet, do feel free to throw that into the chat so people can have a look. So you can actually wrestle for the ICU title within WWE 2K23. And if you win this month's loot drop, you can do it completely free. Let's go, baby. For now, though, Well, let's jump into the news because we actually have quite a bit to talk about. Just before we do, a quick reminder that Enix, thank you very much for that 32 months. Appreciate you very much, dude. And Manny for the 26 as well. You beautiful people.
Nice one.
For now, though, we'll talk about Ubisoft is no longer attending E3 2023 and will host its own event in June. So we have covered this over the last few weeks. I believe it was like maybe not even 4 weeks ago. Ubisoft were like, we are definitely going to E3. And it's like, nice.
And then what did we say then, Graham?
Well, the thing is, though, is like, back then it was like, we are definitely going to E3, and they didn't stop there, though. It was like, if it's going ahead. And it's like, oh.
You see that giant red flag that's being put up over there? Okay.
God damn. Anyway, so now Ubisoft is no longer going to E3. It's doing its own event just across the road. We'll talk through that. For the benefit of ads, players, and any other Nintendo/Zelda fans in the chat, we'll talk about Nintendo showing 10 minutes of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom gameplay. We'll talk about Dr. Disrespect is going to kick. Or is it? Is it? We'll talk about members of Congress accusing Sony of being using unfair business practices. Tell you what is unfair from Sony. The Last of Us PC port being really poor. Well, apparently it is. And then we'll talk about Saints Row reboot roadmap. So if you've got the Saints Row reboot and you're wondering what's coming for the future of that game, then we'll take you through that. Providing we get to that point of the show, there's a good chance that story may move to tomorrow, but we'll see. We'll see. For now, though, babe, you excited to see Ubisoft at E3?
Oh, yes, I am, Graham. I cannot wait for Ubisoft to be at E3 this year.
Well, I hate to be the bearer of bad news that you pulled together, but Andy Robinson at VGC says Ubisoft is no longer attending E3 2023 and will host its own event in June. Let me just stick the dog on the floor because he's trying to get chill on that blanket there. He's a good boy. So the company says it's decided to move in a different direction. Ubisoft is no longer attending this year's physical E3 event, VGC understands. Last month, the Assassin's Creed publisher became the first major company to publicly commit to attending the revamped E3, which is due to take place in June at its traditional venue of the Los Angeles Convention Center. However, in a statement issued to VGC, the company said it's now decided to move in a different direction and will instead be holding its own Ubisoft Forward live event on June the 12th in Los Angeles. Quote, E3 has fostered unforgettable moments across the industry throughout the years, a spokesperson told VGC. While we initially intended to have an official E3 presence, we've made the subsequent decision to move in a different direction. And we will be holding a Ubisoft Forward event live on 12th of June in Los Angeles. We look forward to sharing more details with our players very soon. E3 organizer Reed Pop did not immediately respond to a request for comment. E3 2023, the flagship industry event's first physical show in 4 years, is due to run from Tuesday. Sorry, that was bad. It's due to run. No way did that get that much of a laugh. That definitely didn't deserve that sort of response, but I'll take it. It's due to run from Tuesday, June the 13th, and has been taken over from the ESA, the Entertainment Software Association, by Reed Pop, the media and events company behind PAX, EGX, and Star Wars Celebration. Under the revamped format, the first 2 days of E3 2023 will be reserved exclusively for business, while the remaining days will include consumer visit. We'll stop there for a second. Actually, I know we won't, because they are coming back to the point now. Okay. However, Ubisoft's decision to step away from E3 2023 means that with 3 months to go, no major company has been announced as officially attending. The fact that the company had previously committed to attendees also raises serious questions about the lineup for the revamped show. Ubisoft has historically been a staunch supporter of E3, and CEO Yves Guillemot has expressed support for the 2023 plans. Nintendo and Xbox have already confirmed they will be skipping this year's event. However, the latter will have some form of presence in LA during the same window. Okay, now we can stop. We can stop there. Ubisoft, which always attends all the events all the time with all the things, not necessarily with all the greatest games, because usually it's just the next Assassin's Creed, which might be good, might not be good, depending on which year you're looking at and so on. But they are doing their own thing. Even Ubisoft are now not going to E3. Thoughts, babe?
Yeah, I mean, I think the next 10 days are going to be very important to what we're going to be getting from E3 this year. No major company is going to be attending there. And this is, like you said before, we covered this article maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago, and they put some very interesting words in there when they was talking about their attendance. We've gone over so many times on this podcast how much it actually costs to be able to put on your stand over at something like E3 or Gamescom, and the amount of money that they were spending at E3 for exposure. Is that worth them doing when they can do their own conference themselves? Like the Ubisoft conferences are very good. They're not quite at the state of play Nintendo kind of conferences.
No, state of play is PlayStation, not Nintendo, mate. Sorry. Continue.
It's not state of play that I'm talking about. It's the
Nintendo Direct, Tree Houses.
No. I'm talking about. It's separating those out into like. So you have the Xbox One, which is Xbox On, right? The PlayStation PSX.
Oh, yeah. You get. It depends. Xbox have kind of rebranded to Xbox Showcases recently, but I don't know.
That's it. Showcases. That's the word. That's what I'm looking for. Yeah. So showcases, state of plays, and the Nintendo Directs. They're for me are the top of the tree. They're the very, very top. They're fantastic showcases for their games. Ubisoft are right underneath that with the way that they give us their Ubi Directs. Fantastic. I love them. Very streamlined, very to the point. We do get the occasional waffle that goes on in between them. But apart from that, all intents and purposes, fantastic. Koch at the very bottom. I'm still bitter about that.
It's a good job that Koch don't exist now and PlayOn do, and they can absolutely, definitely 100% better that this time. To be fair, anything would be better than that this time. So.
Well, there was learning. It was during COVID times. So why would they spend that much money to be at E3 when they can just do it themselves for a fraction of the cost and get a much wider spread of exposure, whilst at the same time not having to compete with all the other noise that's happening at the same time? It just makes much more sense that they do that kind of thing. Like, I understand them having their shows in between an E3 week, like you would get at Gamescom. You'd separate them out during the nights. Like you went to the Bethesda one, was it, that you managed to go to?
Yeah.
And they announced, was it Doom? So they have their own conference halls and stuff like that, but it's right slap bang in the middle of the conference. So each night there might be a big announcement or a big event for that particular brand that night. So they separate them out so they're not all communicating at the same time, because that would genuinely be a nightmare to try and cover.
Although technically Bethesda's was in a different place. We went to a different convention, it was more like an opera house sort of venue, but because they did it in line with the E3 schedule and still put games on the show floor and stuff like that, it was still part of it. They just made sure that there's only so many conference spaces and so on. So they just said, okay, we'll do our conference, but we'll foot the bill of putting it somewhere else, but we'll give you the broadcast and we'll still put the games on the show floor. So we're still part of E3. Even though the conference is a 20-minute, I said 20-minute, on foot it's probably 20-minute, but in LA taxis, it's about 6 days. So yeah, we're a few minutes down the street in a different sort of it was quite gothic, churchy sort of vibe theatre. But yeah, they were still part of it. And that's still being part of E3, even though you're not actually within the LA Convention Center, your branding and your standing is still in the Convention Center. So people that rock up can still roll up and play the games at those booths and stuff. But
yeah. So yeah, it's they take themselves out of the conversation and they can own their own messaging, and I think that's genuinely the most important thing, especially this day and age with the way that we market video games, whether or not it's going to be through TikTok or digital ad boards in train stations or whatever. Owning the message that you want to try and put across at a time when you want it to go out is so important. And this is where the disappointment comes in of things being leaked before conferences happening and things like that. So that's usually stuff that's out of their control because it's been leaked. It's someone that's managed to get hold of these notes before they go out, because they will have to put forward a marketing plan for E3, for instance. Whereas when you're doing it yourself, you can, unless someone from internally in the company end up leaking that one, it's a little bit of a different situation. But owning the marketing message that you put out with the amount of people that you want to see it at a time when it's relevant to you and the channels that it goes out on is hugely important. And especially when you're managing the cost yourself, makes perfect sense to be able to do that this day and age. The issue we've got is if companies stop going and supporting these in-person events, where's that going to leave us in the next 5 years? And that's where you kind of think, well, we do definitely need these conferences still. I don't think Gamescom suffers from the fatigue that E3 has and the I don't want to say bad service, but the definitely the bad name and bad title that they've got at this moment in time. How do they change that when they've got no one else being there to support them? And I think that's the difficulty that they're now facing themselves in. Like, if they can't put on a show to try and make up for what's happened in the past, how can they get away from the stigma? And essentially, when people are moving away from what E3 used to be, they're not really giving them a chance to redeem themselves. What does that mean for them going forward? And then that is a difficulty that they're in now, which is why I mentioned at the top of this little rant that I've kind of been going on. The next 10 days is vastly important for them. We're 3 months out from E3 taking place, and they have no one there to support them. They must be feeling like the new kid in the playground. They've just moved schools, and no one's there that wants to be the friend. And how do they get away from this? How do they do right? How do they take the E3 name forward? Because I think they are at real threat of never having another conference being put together, or not one that we would deem part of your video game calendar. The Christmas day, like Jordan said in there, like E3 used to be the one event that you'd look forward to more than anything in the yearly calendar of a video game. And now it's right at the very bottom.
Yeah, 100%. I'm just going to jump back up and catch up with the chat. I know I've done that one. E3 pretty much dead now. Supposedly, people waiting for the cancellation of E3 this week. Spike says, does anyone go to E3 anymore? JMK says, and this is where it gets a little bit weird. Off screen, all we hear is Graham telling Bibby that he is a good boy. Then West says, when they're in the studio together, you can often hear Gray breastfeeding Bibbs a treat.
What the fuck?
Doesn't say breastfeeding, but that's how I read it before. And I was like, what? Doesn't say breastfeeding, but there you go. Probably rubs his belly too, confirmed. Who is bothered about Ubisoft anymore? All of their games, apart from Rainbow Six, are trash. Lol, says Enix.
Disagree.
David says they're hosting their own event with blackjack and hookers. I guess Graham saw the news of Shaun the Sheep going into space with ESA. Easy mix-up. Yeah, same. Silencer, thank you very much for the 8 months, Sue. For the 8 month sub. Dude, I appreciate that very much. Lake as well, throwing down 22 months. Thank you very much, Lake. Love you both. Sorry. But it's all right. Remember when E3 was like Christmas forever? Now it's like, I hope they release their direct around E3 time. And Spike, there you go. Let's put the link in the chat. If you want to wrestle for the ICU title within WWE2K, you can. Hit the link to that tweet. Check it out. In the meantime, what I'm going to check out is this. Batman Dan! Sorry. Terribly sorry. What I'm going to do is check out this. So this is a series of retweets, not necessarily tweets, from Andy Robinson, who is, I believe, is one of the owners and founders of VGC, but he's definitely one of the journalists at VGC. But he has shared this tweet from Jörg Tittle? Nice. New York. So that must be York then. New York. Put on New York. Nice. E3 potentially cancelling. And if so, consider it permanent is a bad thing. Physical events are essential. Games are not digital. We are not a tech industry. Games are a fundamentally physical and profoundly social. We are culture, and that demands human interaction, is a tweet from Yorg. And then Emma Kent says, I'm actually super sad about what's happening to E3. When I went in 2019, I was able to interview big names in person and ask tough questions. E3's collapse is only going to further limit journalists' access to devs and publishers in favour of sterilised, pre-approved trailer reels. And that's a big, big thing that people will often forget, is it's not just the fact that you can share creative ideas. You can build relationships through networking that you wouldn't be able to build by...
Yeah.
You can just meet another content creator, or a brand can meet another brand and we'll get a new crossover, or a developer that's wanting to make a game can just sit down in a bar and chat with a guy from a publisher who goes, you know what, I love the idea, fuck it, we'll make it happen. And then all of a sudden you get a breakout success. That sort of stuff happens when people get together. And if that only happens on the term of the publisher, then that overall process is very limited. So Ubisoft only doing their own event means that only people that are pre-approved, as in their friendly journalists, air quote. Obviously, there's a whole conversation there, that friendly journalists, but we'll just go with it for now. In terms of people that they know are gonna be positive about the brand, be that content creators or influencers or whatever, journalists can all be brought along because they know that they will get favourable coverage from that. Whereas having an open show that anyone can get involved with, having press sections where you've got the world's media there, because actually, do you know what? I'm Andy Robinson from VGC. I was actually here to see something specific, but I'm now going to go drop into the Ubisoft conference. I've not been invited by Ubisoft, but Ubisoft will be like, we would like VGC to cover this, so yes, please come in. You get more... And I don't want to use the word honest because that implies that journalists aren't honest. And there probably are some that aren't honest. But you get that investigative journalism. You get stories that aren't meant to be seen but should be seen. Journalists don't want you to see that their game's broken or buggy or poor or a rip-off of something else or whatever. But you only... journalists, developers, should I say, publishers. But you only get that if journalists uncover it. If not, you will just get the bells and whistles that you will see in the Nintendo Direct. So a story that we'll jump on a little bit later on is PlayStation and The Last of Us not being great on PC. A lot of press haven't received codes on, or hadn't received codes on launch day, apparently. So that's a red flag. You bring that up, but that stuff only comes out right at launch if people haven't been able to get access to that. Obviously, this I'm drawing like a big old link between the two, but if we just believe what the publishers and developers want you to say, want you to see, want you to hear, then it's a very difficult, it's a slippery slope then. So having things like E3 gone is bad for the consumer, don't get me wrong. It definitely is. But before it's bad for the consumer, it's bad for the industry. And E3, it's often easy to forget, was a business-to-business event. It wasn't ever a consumer event. And cutting out the ability for businesses to hold you to task is a bad thing. It really is. So what it used to be was you'll get a literal hotel room, not event conference suites. You get a hotel room, event conference rooms in hotels, I suppose, rather than arenas. So you get a bunch of people, sit them in chairs, and you get a lot of people coming up to present. And the people that were sat in the chairs were journalists, were people from Walmart and GameStop and Game and MVC, if that even doesn't exist anymore, does it? No, HMV as well. I mean, that just about exists these days. Yeah. The Woolworths of the world don't exist. Argos, only online. But you get all of these sites were all there looking at, okay, we like the reaction to this game. We like the look of that game. We'll buy shitloads of that game. I need to find out more about that game, so I'm going to sit down and speak to that developer. And the developers and everyone were fighting against each other because they were trying to win the retailers' buy-in to give us, the consumers, the best quality products. That's what it was. Retailers were trying to get us the best things that they think we'd be interested in. Whereas if they don't have that worry of performing against anyone else anymore, there's a lack of competition. There is more laziness in the industry in that sort of sense. It comes directly as a result of it. If I'm only showing you what I want you to see, then we get the Avengers. Oh, great. Yeah, Marvel's Avengers, great, great. What, no end game or any real substance to the title once you play through a few hours of story? Oh, okay. Okay, yeah. And that's where we will end up. Every game that we come out doesn't have anyone questioning it on multiple levels, anyone getting hands-on to it early, apart from pre-approved segments and so on. And that's where we end up. So it is a shame. Multiple reasons. I mean, for the biggest reason for me, individually, is I want to sit there on a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, maybe even a Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, depending on how they format it this year, and just see fucking 6 conferences in 24 hours. Yeah. I want Last of Us being shoved up my nose first thing. Well, last thing, because Xbox opened it up. Halo and a new fucking Forza or whatever shoved up my nose, and The Last of Us popping out my ass kind of thing with some fucking Need for Speed and EA's stuff thrown in between. But EA's not there anymore. Bethesda's now part of the Xbox One. Nintendo aren't going to be there. PlayStation aren't going to be there. Ubisoft are not going to be there because they're all going to do their own heavily filtered and PR approved conferences, which is genuinely a shame. It is genuinely a shame. Zelda Tears of the Kingdom will win Game of the Year. It's funny you say that, ads, because that's why we're going to jump into our next story. Remember when we used to get 1 hour of sales figures and projections? The good old days. Yeah, I mean, that stuff used to be fucking amazing. Like, and you'd get direct competition for the benefit of the consumer. E3 15, 13, 14, whenever they announced the Xbox price and the PlayStation price, the PS4, and like, it was never confirmed, but there was always rumours that Xbox came out with their presentation and the Xbox One is going to cost $439 or whatever it was. I can't remember the price. We'll just go with that. We'll say $439, and then PlayStation were like, okay, well, we've got our slides already queued up on basically PowerPoint over there, but probably some bigger industrial version. Can I just load up that price and just change it a little bit? We'll just drop it by 20 quid, so it's like a little bit below that one. Fucking amazing, getting shit like that. Direct competition. Whereas now, PlayStation will just do what they want and tell you the price. They both try and hold off and not reveal until the other one's revealed, but it's less impactful. Whereas if someone's having to make a decision within 6 hours, more often than not, that is going to benefit the consumer because it's a knee-jerk decision that they've not had the time to think, okay.
It's not just that as well, though, is it? It's the fact that they don't make as much money as they maybe once did through actual hardware. They're making it all through software now and subscription models. So the price of the console, for argument's sake, they could sell it for £100 and just make that much of a loss on it in the hope that they will eventually at some point down the line be able to make a profit off it. That'll obviously never happen. That'll never be the way that they end up doing the business. However, that is the line in the sand kind of thing, that they make all their money elsewhere. They just want you to be playing those games on their console, which is essentially where kind of like cloud streaming's come into it, because you can get into it for next to nothing, and then their subscription models in the background are the way that they make money off you, the consumer. So yeah, there's various ways of being able to look at it, but the fact that the console wars used to be that, okay, we'll undercut them just slightly, they've gone first, idiots, we'll undercut them. I say that was definitely the glory days.
It's the thing as well with the subscription sort of models that are taking hold now. There's even less of that. It's more on how can we ensure that people stay on, and the best way to keep people on a subscription model is to provide the best games and the best quality content, which we can already see that doesn't really exist, because the best subscription model in games is Game Pass, but it doesn't have, in my opinion, the best content on there. It probably will do, but it probably will do as being something I've said for 5 years now. So it will get there, but it doesn't have that. So it's a matter of, like, you will often get people signing up for value propositions and sales and all these businessy things to get people in, but it's still not about getting the best content most regularly. If you have to have a really good game to keep someone's interest, like PlayStation does, if the game looks shit and reviews shit, people aren't going to buy it, then you get nothing. That is a lot scarier. It's probably more profitable, but it's a lot scarier than having, okay, well, you've got 5 million people subscribed. If you have a good game, it might go up a bit. If you have a bad game, it might go down a bit. If you have a lot of bad games, it'll probably keep going down, but you're still going to have people buying in anyway. So it changes the whole concept of E3 in that sort of sense. But yeah, anyway, we'll put a pin in this now. So the gist of the article was that Ubisoft has pulled out of E3, despite being the only brand that had promised to be in there. Final bits to add into that, I did see, and I don't know if these were engagements around Andy Robinson at VGC, but I was looking at his stuff, because he was basically, from my feed, he was like the figure point of a lot of people generating interaction. It could have been him, it could have been Andy Payne from the BAFTA panel in the UK or whatever, but the gist of it was, it's a bit harsh on ReedPop. I mean, don't get me wrong, ReedPop aren't flawless. PAX is a great event, but EGX is a bit shit. If I'm being honest, it's a bit shit. I mean, and this is speaking from someone that went to EGX a few years ago, and that's not ReedPop's fault. That is the quality of the games that are being released by publishers and developers to go at that game. That is the quality of announcements that are being that show, should I say. That's the quality of announcements that have been saved for that show. But ReedPop can organise a great event. They definitely can. We've seen it with PAX and stuff like that, where people are invested in this event. The issue is, and numerous sources have said this, is there is games that need promoting and there is brands that want to go to these events, but it's a Mexican standoff. There are people waiting for someone else to blink first, one other brand to go first. And Ubisoft going, yeah, we'll be there, but not announcing that they are going to be there and not saying that we can't wait to bring you your first look at Assassin's Creed thing at E3. Because there's none of that. Then Sony's going, oh, I'm still not asked then. And then Bethesda's going, well, we're part of Microsoft, but we do have a few things. But yeah, we're not going to put pressure on Microsoft for us to go then, so we'll leave it. Microsoft's going, well, we were going to be at the convention center, but now I'm not sure. Should we be? And you've got to feel sorry for the people like the dudes and dudettes at ReedPop that have gone and done nothing wrong, but are still dealing with a bit of a shit show of an event. There was also a really good meme that I saw yesterday, which was, it was like the entire games industry, like the studios, developers, publishers, shooting E3 in the face and then turning around to the camera and then going, we might not be at E3, but we are still proud to support E3. And it's like, yeah, of course you are. That's a nice little audio bit, a little bit to put in your PR article in it. We're definitely big fans of E3. Yeah, big fans. So hopefully something changes. As it stands, I can't see it, especially not with like Gamescom. Gamescom is crap for announcements. Let's be honest, it is as well. I know I'm saying quite inflammatory statements by calling both EGX and Gamescom crap. They aren't crap. They have some good stuff, but they don't have your AAA headline announcements. You might get a Fall Guys announcement or something there, and that's kind of about it. Because it just sits in the wrong time of year. August and September, which to October, which is the window for Gamescom to EGX, just doesn't work for a Christmas release anymore, and never has done really. But EGX, Gamescom more so, are still successful because they realised, you know what? Let's just crack on then. Make it be more of a celebration. Let's make it so that the people that are coming and playing games are having the best time, that the brands can't miss going to EGX, that they can't miss going to Gamescom, and in this case, they can't miss going to E3 at the moment. It's like, yeah, we'll not bother. We'll do our own thing instead. It's because you're not offering something bespoke, something different. And by keeping the first 2 days for press only and the last 3 days for consumers and stuff, you're already separating things out. I know Gamescom does that as well, but yeah, it's a shame. It's a shame. I would like to see E3 absolutely pop. I don't know what they're going to do to make that happen, though. Yeah. Speaking about big pops, let's jump into our next news article. Ads. Are you sitting down? Get yourself a cushion. You know, you need to hide one for this. Oh, wrong button. This one. Chris Scullion at VGC. Nice. Get off the whiskies, Graham. VGC. Chris Scullion at VGC says, Nintendo shows 10 minutes of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom gameplay. The new footage shows Link's abilities in detail. Nintendo has released 10 minutes of gameplay footage from the Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. I'm not going to hit play on this because Nintendo will absolutely send SWAT through Bibby's manners, like left, like East Wing or something like that. So if you want to see this, check it out on the YouTube or wherever. It is embedded in the article, which we can share you the link to if you want afterwards. This article, once again, from VGC. The footage, which is narrated by series producer Eiji Aonuma, shows off Link's new abilities in detail. The video can be viewed below, but we're not going to do that. The footage opens with Link exploring Hyrule on a horse, while areas of land referred to as Sky Islands can be seen in the air. Suddenly, a large piece of rock falls from one of the Sky Islands. Link runs over to it and uses one of his new abilities, Recall, which rewinds time. By standing on the rock and using Recall, Link can reach the Sky Island as the rock travels back to its starting position. Quote, "There are lots of ways to reach the Sky Island, so we hope you'll try a few different methods," Aonuma says. The footage shows Link on a larger Sky Island where he takes on a new enemy called a Construct, We're then shown another new ability, Fuse, in which Link takes a tree branch and sticks it to a large rock and creates a new weapon, a makeshift hammer. Aonuma says the Fuse ability can be used in a number of ways, including merging two weapons together by fusing a long stick with a pitchfork. Players can create an exceptionally long spear. Players can also use fuse arrows with materials by merging one with an ice elemental ingredient. They can fire a shot that freezes enemies. The footage also shows Link trying to shoot down a bird from the sky, but being unable to do so because it's too fast. The player fuses an arrow with a Keese eyeball, turning it into a homing arrow, and some enemies will also use fuse weapons, it has been revealed. Another fuse example shows Link merging his shield with a puff shroom. Sounds like a Pokemon. A special mushroom. When an enemy hits Link's shield, the puff shroom explodes in a puff of smoke, dazing the enemy and leaving them open to attack. A new ability, Ultra Hand, shows Link joining together large objects with a sticky substance. In one example, he joins 3 large logs together to make a raft and then detaches and reattaches some logs to change its shape. He then attaches 2 fans to the raft to power it, allowing him to travel across a large river. Aonuma then points out, there's a lot in this as well, by the way, Aonuma points out that the wheeled vehicle and flying machine shown in the previous teaser of the Kingdom trailer aren't actually ready available in the game like that, but were crafted using the Ultra Hand ability. Finally, the footage demonstrates Link's new Ascend ability, which has also been seen in previous trailers. With this ability, Link can pass through some ceilings. While the move has some restrictions, Aonuma says, quote, as long as there's a ceiling, you can use it anywhere. In an example shown, Link makes it to the top of a large hill by entering a cave and using Ascend to pass through its ceiling and emerge on the hilltop. Game's out 12th May. Ads is already pre-ordered. 6 copies. Nice. Lots in there. Did you play Breath of the Wild, babe?
I did, yeah. I never got round to finishing it fully, but I did enjoy what I played of it.
Is that because it's a wash dead game?
Yeah, dead game, mate. Dead game.
Thought so.
But no, I mean, I'm more interested about what this game's going to look like in 12 months. I feel like this is the last big title that we're probably going to get on the Nintendo Switch. One that's a first-party game anyway. I feel like this is the same situation that we had with Breath of the Wild on the Wii U. Like, we know there's going to be a better version of this coming when it comes out on the Nintendo Switch, but we're still going to have this game on the Wii U. I feel like that's the same situation that we've got with this. There's going to be something bigger and better, and it's going to look visually better on the new Nintendo console. So I'm happy that this is coming out for the people who've been waiting for this. Like, I'm watching Link now create a raft with 3 pieces of log. Like, that's amazing. The creativity that you're able to have. I don't have that creativity in my mind to be able to think, oh, okay, I need to get over there, give me 3 pieces of wood and I'll create a raft like that. Just, it wouldn't be the first thing that I ended up thinking. But this just feels like more Breath of the Wild, and for what it was a fantastic game. It's not my favorite game ever. I know it's probably is, and I think it's up there with Luke's as well. So I'm happy for those people. Like, I'm watching him now. He's putting a fan on the back of the raft to get across. So he's making a speedboat. Like, never would have thought that. Unless the game told me to do that, I never would have thought of doing that kind of stuff. So they definitely have some foundations from what they had previously with the game. And that's all you can ask for, can't you, really? You can only ask for advancements and progression with a really good foundation, which was Breath of the Wild.
It's interesting to see how many advancements there sounds like there is in this game. Bibby has just kind of dropped off in quality, by the way, just because in the studio where Bibby is, people are downloading all sorts of mods for Zelda. I'm only joking, Nintendo. Yeah. Chill out. Not really. That doesn't really exist. Modding doesn't exist. Don't take us down. No. People in the office are doing bits, so that's why Bibby looks a little bit pixelated. It'll come back in a bit. But the interesting thing is they had a winning mentality already. They had a script that they could just build on already with Breath of the Wild. And the interesting thing was seeing all sorts of conversations around, would Breath of the Wild just do God of War to God of War Ragnarok and bring you more of the same, but better? Like, you don't always have to reinvent the wheel. If you've already got a winning formula with that wheel, just stick with it. Just stick with it. You don't have to reinvent. You don't need to do it. Just make it a little bit smoother, a little bit rounder. Nice. And I was kind of thinking that might be what Nintendo did with this, just because of how successful Zelda was. Not as a Zelda game, Breath of the Wild was, not as a Zelda game, but as a game in general. It unanimously smashed everyone's expectations from what they were looking for in a Zelda game, and then has set the bar. So I thought, okay, they'll play it safe. They'll keep it close. But the fact that they've got these huge differences, the fact that there's recall, so you can rewind time and send boulders back into the sky to change how you traverse the map. The fact that you can build, you fucking Fortnite in your way through travel. Yeah, I've not got a car. Let's throw a few bits of wood together and a few fans, and you just fucking sell. The fact that you can do all that sort of stuff. And the game looks as good. If you haven't watched the video in that article, by the way, do feel free to check it out. It's a good watch. It's about 15 minutes, the overall video. I think, is it 13, actually? 13 minutes, because it's 10 minutes of gameplay. Go check it out. It's a good watch. But GG's to Nintendo for not just going, okay, we'll rinse and repeat. They are actively trying to build something new in there for Zelda fans to give them bigger and better experiences. So,
absolutely.
GG's.
Big props.
Absolutely. Gacked! Welcome in, dude. Where did we get to? So E3 is like breaking the Magician's Code specials. You just don't see what the marketing wants you to see. Exactly. That's what it is. E3 shows you the bits that the marketing doesn't want you to see. If they do it well, then you don't see it. If they done fuck up, then you do. Yes, says Ads, talking about Zelda Game of the Year 2023. Can't wait to make a flying rocket. Seems they just added Breath of the Wild and Skyward Sword expansion. This game will be revolutionary. Just wait, says Ads. Tito says, Yanan. Nice. Pistol Mike says, hey guys, can't watch. No internet here at the moment. New house, at the new house yet. Just able to say hi. Thank you for dropping in. Even though you've not got the interwebs, Mike, I appreciate that very much. I hope the big cushioned reclinery chair has made the journey to the new house.
Yeah.
Goddamn right. I got 2 pre-orders for all the bonuses. Also, the new Zelda OLED. Ooh. See, that was an article that also was covered by VGC, but we didn't pick that one up. But there is a brand new OLED Zelda console, if anyone is interested in picking that up. Of course there is. Of course there is. I mean, Switch being so close to the all-time record, of course there is. Pikmin 4's after Zelda. And it says, I feel like it's the same situation with Breath of the Wild and Wii U. Might wait for a Switch 2 version. Link has that creativity with logs, but if I create something with logs, then the toilet's a mess. Way. Breath of the Wild was good, but not my favourite. Lacked story and classic Zelda vibes, to be honest. The world looks similar, but a lot changes too from Breath of the Wild. Zelda, Breath of the Wild, build mode. Ooh, imagine. So yeah, there you go. 10 minutes of footage was released by Nintendo showing off Zelda Tears of the Kingdom gameplay. So if you want to check that out, this is the article that we referenced. This was from VGC. It has the trailer embedded in there. Obviously, you can just do a search on YouTube or wherever you watch your video content. You'll be able to find that there. Speaking about watching video content, any of you guys watching video content on Twitch? No?
Of course they are.
No? Yes? Nice. Of course you are. You're here. What about Kick? Bib, do you watch anything on Kick?
I don't even have an account on there yet.
Do you watch any live streamed content on YouTube?
Yes.
Like what?
Begins with I think I don't know whether or not we'll have to say his name, because when he was streaming the Dead Drop, they had to call him the 2-time. They wasn't allowed to reference him by his name. But I don't know if that's because he was playing the game.
Ah, I didn't know that. I mean, if you don't know what we're talking about, it rhymes with schmock to schmish respect. So yes,
that's one way of getting around it.
That's definitely Dr. Respect said his name. In fact, it's a news program. God damn. And we have nothing in our contract that says that we can't, so say names. This is the story. Callum Patson at Deserto says, is Dr. Disrespect moving to Kick? Banned Twitch streamer fuels after Aiden Ross hint. I don't know if it's Aiden or Adin, but it's the guy that basically owns Kick. Anyway, speculation has started spreading that Dr. Disrespect, who was banned from Twitch in mysterious circumstances and moved to YouTube, could be moving to a streaming platform again to join Kick. Dr. Disrespect moved to YouTube after his exit from Twitch, but unlike many of his contemporaries, he wasn't lured away by a big contract. Twitch had, inexplicably, at least to the public, banned the doc, and even years on, the exact reason for his ban is shrouded in mystery. He has remained on YouTube ever since, although his relationship with the platform hasn't been totally smooth either, having called them out on numerous occasions, usually for what he believes is a lack of support. Couple this with Kick's newfound popularity and confirmation they have signed a, quote, superstar, there is now speculation that said superstar is Dr. Disrespect. On March 27th, Aidan Ross, who has been a very vocal advocate for Kick, said another superstar was joining. It was assumed that this was someone from Twitch, as he added, rest in piss, Twitch. But what if it wasn't a Twitch streamer at all? On his stream the same day, Dr. Disrespect said, and I actually saw this live because Bibby told me he was playing PUBG, so, that a big announcement that he was building a brand new arena. Quote, it's big. It's big time. We're building it out. I just got the schematics in. I think we're going to be moving forward. End quote. Continuing that quote, we're going bigger, more state of the art, more futuristic, the doc continued, but we've had a lot of good memories here, right here. End quote. Clearly, he was trying to not give too much away, but Dr. Disrespect's arena refers to his streaming domain and has had a number of iterations over the years. A brand new arena could just mean a visual overhaul of his current setup, but it could also be a metaphor for a new streaming platform. For now, there is nothing concrete to suggest he's leaving YouTube, but many fans believe this segment was a big clue. Quote, I wouldn't be surprised if the doc made the move to Kick, one fan said on Twitter. He's overdue for an exclusive deal, and it seems like Kick wants to spend the money to bring in some top-tier talent. The doc fits perfectly with that. End quote. For now, we can only wait for the announcement of Kick's new superstar streamer, and the reveal of Doc's new arena, whether they are linked or not, remains to be seen. Interesting.
Yeah.
Is Kick the new home of the doc, the two-time? Thoughts, babe?
No, I don't think it is. I feel like he's at home on YouTube now. I genuinely think it's just going to be an overhaul of his current streaming situation. It wouldn't surprise me if he moved into a different studio, because it wasn't that long ago that he took a picture of his setup at home as Guy Beam, not Dr. Disrespect. So I don't know whether or not that was kind of like a farewell picture, because you don't get to see behind the scenes. He's a very private person when it comes to that stuff. He might be very flashy as Dr. Disrespect, but as Guy Beam, he seems to be very, quite private with that stuff. So when he shows you things like that, it's usually for a reason. So I don't know whether or not that's a swan song. So his stream set up, I don't know if it's in his house or
if
a
I don't
unit
drink
somewhere.
some gravy soon, I'm probably not going to make it.
That done with. Because like when he goes into his when he does his standing up segments and he's going in front of the green screen, I have noticed that they started to tweak with the mic a little bit, so he doesn't necessarily use the one that's on his headset anymore. I don't know if it's one that's above him or what. The sound it sounds a little bit clearer than it used to do, but it's still not up to his standards when it comes to stuff like that. It's obviously just rather concentrating on the visual rather than the sound quality. So I don't know whether or not he's just having a massive overhaul and he's moving into a completely new dig or something like that. I'm not too sure, but I don't think Kick isn't a viable option for it. I'm not saying that it's not a viable option in terms of how much you will get him paid, but jumping over to something that's as new as that doesn't quite have the an established backing, and the Twitch streamers that run that platform are massive global superstars. I'm fairly certain that they have enough money to be able to pay whoever it is that comes over there, because people are getting I'm not going to use the term average streamers, but people who are pulling in like 1,000 over on Kick are getting 30 grand worth of money for that month, which is a life-changing amount of money. Where's that coming from?
Keep talking about
It's not as if like Microsoft are having Mixer and it looks like a near infinite amount of money that they'll be able to pay whoever it is that come over, like Shroud, like Ninja. But Kick just starting out, Doc's smart. he ain't going to make a business decision just based off of money. It's the long-term history. And I feel like the fact that he is now streaming over on Twitch, which he then has that entire stream converted and staying as a VOD, or then having elements of that taken out to be able to create a video, it's just a nice conveyor belt and a process that he's got going on there. I don't know whether or not he'd interfere with it. And that's my 2 pence. I don't know if Graham's muted his mic.
Yep, maybe he has. He's back. Yeah, no, I agree with the majority of that until the bit that I didn't hear. But yeah. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? Am I still muted? Oh no, there we go.
No, I can hear you.
Let me jump back up. What about Mixer? Says Wild Boys Rambo. I have so many sparks to give. I hate to break this to you. Let's face it, says Spike. Kick is where greedy people, OF girls, and people who are banned from Twitch and disgruntled go. I'm knackered. Can you hear him now? Out of breath. I don't see him ditching YouTube, or at least full-time, unless it's a real massive payout, because if it fails, he'll have to start again. Not really seen lots of partnered UK creators move already. The platform has grown. Or not really. I've seen lots of... You're missing your comma there, and it's god damn it. So not really seen loads of partnered UK creators move already. The platform has grown. I actually agree with both statements there. I do believe that a bunch of failed people and shady characters are on Kick. I do believe that. But I also know that some great creators have gone over to Kick as well to test, like Zaffa Cakes, for example. Big friend of the channel. Comedian, stand-up comedian. He's looking to keep his options open. He now has a ticked channel over on Kick too. So, yeah. It's definitely growing in popularity, as anything does. Mixer did when it had its I say little venture. It was a big venture, and it was pretty successful in reality, just not successful enough. So it will get better. It's just whether it can get better enough. And obviously, this is a conversation we touched on the other day. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see. Tito says, "Don't want to spoil the surprise, guys, but it's me. I'm the superstar streamer."
Yeah, I back
that. Spike says, "Yeah, for money, Kick will die off. I mean, I go on every day to see how it's doing, and it's always 4 non-gaming categories top of the 5 most viewed. And I've seen racism and horrific abuse on there that goes unchecked. It's bad. Eggs will sink in over time. Kick won't be judged by its best streamers. It'll be judged by its worst, and there are plenty to choose." And then Enix says, "Kick is a quick bag. Already people making money off hundreds of subs. End of the day, most people who stream full-time, they need to make the money. If the split works for them, then fair enough. If I had the choice to move for money, then I would do. Twitch has the issues with racism, bias, and abuse as well. New platforms always have issues with moderation, but they're actively stamping it out. Seen it with my own eyes in one stream with devs in there trying to stop spam bots, etc. Kick's doing a mix, and soon it'll crumble if it's not careful. Yeah, they'll make money from it. Then when it dies, they'll be left high and dry. There's a reason Trainwreck is spearheading the push. He loves steak.com. It's with the meat, not S-T-A-K-E. Yeah. Nice. And Twitch banned them, and Kick is part owned by steak.com, from what I've read. Oh yeah, people will test for the quick money, but the second they change their sub money payouts, it'll get so much backlash, and it's inevitable. Twitch banned them, but Neymar today was gambling on stream, and Twitch let him do it. It's one rule for one and rules for the others. Exactly. I don't want to give them the proper links on my website. That was fine. I'd rather go to steak.com anyway. I mean, although with the internet being the internet, steak.com could be some sort of sexual website. Absolutely. Do you want to eat this steak? I don't think that's the meat I was looking for. But yes, anyway. Is Dr. Disrespect moving to Kick is the question. It's possible, but I'm not 100% sure. The doc is a trendsetter. The doc is an early adopter. And sometimes that works. Being an early adopter doesn't mean you make the right decisions all the time. Sometimes making decisions that look stupid now work well better on it. Imagine some weird dude giving up his job as a developer at Activision, working on the biggest selling FPS game out there, to sit and record videos for YouTube, where I first saw him and then obviously move into streaming on Twitch and so on, wearing a fucking wig and a fake mustache, which he then grew one in, called the bearded Ethiopian cat. Oh no, what was it? The Ethiopian poisonous Ethiopian caterpillar. There we go. Not bearded. Fucking hell.
The bearded Ethiopian caterpillar.
I mean, it's a big old caterpillar. God damn. That's a stupid decision. Let's be honest. If you're going to wear a wig and a fake mustache and give it a name like a poisonous Ethiopian caterpillar, and then get a flick blade, like a switchblade knife to comb the fucking thing, weird as fuck. But yet he's a millionaire off of it because he's made stupid decisions that have worked. Not saying that's this. It might be a stupid decision that works. Spike's comments are very, very valid, but so are Enix's. And the only ones that will be right are the ones that we can tell you about it after the matter of fact. Because from my perspective, Kick has a lot of problems. And it is funded by gambling money, which will lead to a lot more problems. And it's catapulting itself by the fact that Twitch isn't perfect and has problems. And a lot of people are rolling all that together and saying, okay, Twitch has problems, Kick will be the saviour. But if it was easy to make a platform that just did Twitch's stuff right, YouTube would already be doing that. And it's not that easy. YouTube has all of its communities from video content, and that is still struggling to keep up with Twitch in terms of live streamed content. Doesn't mean that you can't do it, but is someone doing that for potentially nefarious reasons the best opener? I don't think it is. That said, the doc can see things that are definitely disruptive, like NFTs and so on, and incorporate those into his game content. Whether that turns out to be successful for Dead Drop, we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see. But if he can turn that into something, then he could potentially turn Kick into something. So he could be. The only way we know is to sit and watch and see how this transpires. But
I don't think he'd want to be the face of something that's now got a stigma. I haven't been on to Kick to watch anything, so I can't say. I can only have some sort of hearsay comments, but I am fairly certain that he will not want to be the face of something that's the platform that's known for racism and anti-Semitism and anything else that's heinous and illegal and things like that. He won't want to be a part of that. He won't want to be known as part of the face of a brand that actively promotes OnlyFans and stuff like that. And might be. Do you have to be 18 to be on that platform? Is that one of the tick boxes?
No, it's like Twitch in the fact that, so I created an Ice Cream Uploads account so we can reserve the domain, and the only stream I've watched was Effects, and it might have had one of those. You have to be mature enough to watch this stream, sort of things like Twitch does, but you don't have to be 18 plus to be on.
Right. Okay. So yeah, it's whether or not he wants to do that stuff. I believe that he isn't just in it for the money, because I imagine that he would have so many brands and sponsors that throw themselves at him that it would be so easy for him to be able to take them all. But I firmly believe he's one of the kind of guys that will only back something or promote something that he believes in, whether or not it's the Mountain Dew Gamer Fuel, Gamer Focus, whether or not it's his Rocat headset, mouse, and keyboard. Yeah, so I don't believe that he would just jump at the chance to secure the bag. I believe that he will have a plan in place as to what makes it easier for him to deliver content, and I believe that it probably is through YouTube. It's annoying for him that he probably can't stream on Twitch. He can't jump in a game with Shroud anymore. He can't jump into games. Well, Ninja just streams on fucking everything now, so it's irrelevant.
It'd be interesting to see whether he does a Ninja though. Like Ninja gave up his Twitch partnership to be able to stream on fucking Twitter.
Yeah.
But I see it. It pops up in my feed, and annoyingly, I am more open to watching Dr. Disrespect's content than Ninjas, but I see Ninjas more often because I use Twitter and I use Twitch, and I look at videos on YouTube. I don't use YouTube as a streaming platform, so therefore I don't really get to see much of the Doc's content, unless Bibby specifically goes, watch the Doc, is playing PUBG right now. So I go, okay! Other than that, I don't tend to go looking for it. Even though I would choose to watch his content the first in the world, it's just not on my platform of choice. Which then comes back to what Enix has said. Where is it? People as big as the Doc, their communities will follow. People said Doc would die when he moved to YouTube, and he was fine. 95-5 split, Doc would make absolute bank. I feel like you are oversimplifying that dramatically. People as big as the Doc will have their communities follow. Yes, correct, but not all of them. You look at the
want to protect them as well.
number of people that followed him, he got a massive peak, but his average is down for what he would get on Twitch. Absolutely down. The same thing with Shroud when he was on Mixer. The same thing with Ninja when he was on Mixer. Once you'd got past the novelty factor, which obviously that can vary. It could be a week, could be 3 months. The numbers were down because people got, okay, back to life then. Can't be bothered fucking going, figuring out how to load up Mixer and YouTube and oh, fuck it, I'll just go to Twitch and see what's there. Oh, something cool's happening on Twitch anyway now. Let's watch that instead. And then that's it. Ibai Lanos, who's one of the biggest streamers that's ever existed, didn't really exist as a streamer back then. He was still commentating on CSGO or whatever it was. And now he's best mates with Lionel Messi because life moves and changes at a pace. So yes, the doc could go, and yes, the doc could have an impact, but it is too simplistic to say that someone like the doc can go and make a shitload more money there. He will probably be fine, as you've said. He was fine. Fine is very different from trailblazing. Absolutely is. And a 95-5 split, there's a lot of crumbling down in that as well, because there's all the tax ramifications and stuff that people won't have considered as well. Twitch had, like, for those that have been around Twitch for a long enough time, Twitch had all sorts of problems back in the day because they had issues with tax, with people earning on their platforms, but Twitch not doing their part to take money off people and give it away for tax purposes. Anyone that is a Twitch affiliate or partner now will realise that you don't get all the money from a sub because you have to give some back. And that is for tax reasons and all sorts of stuff. So that stuff still comes into play. That stuff hasn't been fully realised and normalised either. So that will change. And if they're taking 5% and giving you 95%, then you will probably have to do your own tax returns on that sort of stuff too. I'm not saying that perfect. I don't know enough about the financial state of that, and someone that probably has that information, go and speak to them about it. It's probably not really the kind of thing we want to talk about on this podcast, not in that sort of in-depth detail, but yeah, it is simplifying too much to say someone with that level of reach can just go and be a success. They can for themselves, and they will probably continue to keep earning a living, particularly because YouTube is a platform that the doc, all his work that he's putting on YouTube won't stop his success on YouTube. If he goes and streams somewhere else now, bearing in mind he doesn't have any exclusivity contracts with YouTube, he can still put his videos on YouTube like he was doing on Twitch and like he was doing on Mixer. The thing was, he left Twitch with probably 250,000 subs on YouTube because he just put video content and highlights and stuff. He'll be leaving YouTube as a streaming platform while still having access to YouTube, but with what's he on now? Fucking 20 million? I don't know. It could be something like that. Which is huge. So he has enough money to keep himself sustained as a content creator on YouTube whilst also being a streamer elsewhere. So yeah, if he's fine, that's par for the course. He will be fine anyway. YouTube has already secured that on YouTube. But how will he get on a different platform like that? The Kick one will be an interesting one because you either get people that you've got naturally the full spectrum of views. This is a great thing. It's diversity, 95% split. Good to see something new, someone with fresh ideas. There's nothing wrong with that statement. On the other end of the spectrum, you've got, yeah, another one piece of shit, just looks exactly like Twitch. There's lots of boobs, tits, racism, and gambling, and it's not going to be here in 5 minutes' time. Fuck that shit off. And then you got people in the middle that are kind of like, I don't know, a bit of both or whatever. And there's nothing wrong with being anywhere. I must admit, I am more aligned with the fact that I don't think it will be a success, but I don't believe that is bang to rights. I feel like depending on how they interact in this time where people's opinions are still malleable and first impressions haven't really been formed, then they could pull that back. But they have a lot of work to do. The fact that they only released their app on Sunday or the Sunday before or something so people can watch shows me that they can't have been that serious because even Hover had an app. Like fucking Trovo and yeah. It was a horrible experience for me to try it a couple of weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. Probably less horrible now. And if they've only just started putting that shit together and pulled it out of nowhere, then fair dues. Maybe they are moving at pace, but we'll see. You'll be able to tell in 2 to 3 months' time whether it's going to continue to be, it could be, and it's not. Or whether it actually does, because you can be close to being the next big thing for a long period of time, and then eventually you're not. You're old news. So we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see. I mean, I was excited by Kick. Then a week later of watching streams, all I was seeing was and I was still seeing horrific stuff. Yeah, I mean that's the thing. The horrific stuff will be there for weeks, months possibly. And if it is there for months, they will not be a success. If it's there for weeks, but people see a noticeable downturn, then that is a redemption story. Which there's nothing wrong with a redemption story. Would love to see if that's the case. If Twitch, and I'm saying this as a person wearing a Twitch hoodie, by the way, if Twitch isn't the greatest platform in the world of all time, but Kick suddenly is, fair dues. That's better for everyone that's digesting content. All the creators will go there. All the communities will go there. But we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see. If Mixer wants to be successful, it needs a PS and Xbox app like Twitch and streaming straight from consoles, in my opinion. Kick, not Mixer. Yeah, nice. It's owned by Aiden Ross. He's dodgy as they come, so... Twitch had the same issue for years. The platform just started... and they just released their mobile app. It's just growing, so see if it's successful in 6 months or not. Yeah, Twitch had the same issue for years, but Twitch is the pioneer. It's easier to follow in someone else's footsteps in that sort of sense. It's not as easy to get the same level of success by following in someone's footsteps, though. So you can't label Twitch in that sort of bit. I mean, more recently you can do. Twitch has been failing, and we've said that before, in terms of the protective measures and all of the justification for revenue splits and so on like that. You can absolutely call Twitch out for that, but for them having issues in terms of setting up and so on for years, it's easy to downplay that because it was Justin.tv and bought by Amazon. Just the logistics of that, trying to keep it Justin.tv's ground focus, but also not make it just some corporate bureaucracy that Twitch is, and get the middle, not that Amazon is, and get the middle ground will be an absolute headache. So yeah. Anyway, we'll put a pin in that. Put a pin. Boop. I am excited to see. I am excited to see if the dock is going to move again. Interesting. It will be interesting.
I don't think it's in his best interest, in my personal opinion. But hey, what kind of weight does that hold?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, though. In my opinion, it wasn't in Ninja's best interests to go to Mixer at that point in time.
I think he'd agree with you now.
Yeah. But he got paid 16 million for like a year and a half worth of work, so winner, chicken dinner. He's probably happy enough with that, and it did cement him as a high-profile name. I mean, he was already arguably a high-profile name before that, but that just final nail in the coffin, but a positive coffin, if you know what I mean. So... yeah, I mean, if the dog gets paid an absolute wedge, I could understand it. But getting paid an absolute wedge to be the face of Microsoft's brand new platform is different from getting paid an absolute wedge to be the face of Stake.com. What's that? Yeah. Oh, it's a gambling website? Okay, it's a gambling website that's got loads of issues and stuff. All right, then. Is a different conversation. It definitely is. And even though a lot of people will be out there going, yeah, it's gambling, it's fine. Gambling isn't illegal. And all that sort of stuff it might not be illegal. Smoking's not illegal, but doesn't necessarily mean you want to expose your kids to it and you want it in a family environment sort of thing. It's that's the thing that advertisers and brands, and the dock is a brand, will consider, is there is damage potential from being linked to Kick. 100%. You cannot say that there is not damage potential just on reputation alone. Whether it's true or not, the court of public opinion is separate from actual courts. And the court of public opinion, there is definitely potential for damage there. So if he is going to go to Kick, he has to be very, very well compensated for that. So we'll see. We'll find out in the next couple of weeks, no doubt. Yoda, welcome in. How are you doing? Okay, we're going to fly over some news bits since we are an hour and 20 minutes in. I just want to quickly cover these two because the hot topics now, we'll leave the Saints Row one. We'll move that one to tomorrow. But for now, I want to bring this one up. This is written by Daniel DEANGELO at Game Rant. It says, 11 members of Congress accuse Sony of unfair business practices. We're not going to spend too long at this because this is just another facet of an ongoing article that we do keep coming back to, and that is Bethesda / Xbox's takeover of Bethesda / Activision. There we go. 4 Republicans and 6 Democrats from the US House and Senate say Sony is illegally undermining Microsoft's share of the Japanese gaming market. Several American politicians allege that Sony engages in unfair business practices to keep Microsoft out of the Japanese gaming market. The accusations against Sony went public on Thursday during a trade hearing in the US Senate, with members of the House of Representatives also writing 2 letters encouraging the government to act. Microsoft has long struggled to get a foothold in the Japanese gaming market. Xbox consoles have never been a big seller in the country, losing out to Sony and Nintendo products. This is traditionally explained as home team advantage favouring Japanese companies. However, others have attributed Xbox's local unpopularity to Microsoft's unwillingness to engage with the quirks of the Japanese market. As reported by Accuse, 11 members of Congress from both political parties are pressuring the Biden administration to get involved in Sony and Microsoft's competition over the Japanese gaming market. On Thursday, Democratic Senator Maria Cantwell criticized Sony's control of the Japanese video game market, calling it a monopoly. 10 members of the House of Representatives also sent letters to Commerce Secretary Gina Raimondo and U.S. Trade Representative Catherine Tai, calling on the federal government to take action. Senator Cantwell raised their concerns to Tai during Thursday's hearing. According to Cantwell, PlayStation accounts for 98% of the high-end game market. The US policymaker says that Sony established this stranglehold through exclusive contracts and payments to publishers, and the corporation's tactics violate Japan's antitrust laws. She also criticised the Japanese government for failing to investigate these tactics. Cantwell then questioned Tai about how the administration would work to create a fairer playing field in the Japanese market. Tai refused to speak on Sony directly, but said that the Senator's concerns would be addressed. Meanwhile, a letter signed by 4 House Republicans allege that Japan has a policy of not investigating Sony's conduct and may be acting in violation of US-Japan trade agreements. 5 Democratic representatives from Cantwell's state of Washington also penned a letter covering similar ground. It's unclear precisely what Cantwell means by high-end game market. However, this category excludes the wildly successful Nintendo Switch, which remains Japan's best-selling modern console despite the PS5's recent explosion in popularity. However, the Switch's technical specifications as 2017 release often lead to exclusion from the current console generation, which may be what Cantwell is referring to.
Fucking hell, size of this moth!
Size of this moth! Still, it's a very misleading way to frame the current state of Japanese gaming. Okay, we'll leave it there. We'll leave it there. Interesting. So, is this linked to the ongoing conversation? Does Microsoft, an American business, and having people that probably are severely linked with political parties, are they asking political people to start making PlayStation look bad? Is this a smear campaign, or is this just a conversation that should have been had a long time ago? Very difficult question to answer, but thoughts, babe?
Yeah, I think it could. It's I don't know. We don't know if it's just finger pointing at this moment in time. That's what I'm trying to say, but in a very diplomatic, down the middle way, because otherwise you either get called a fanboy or it's classed as slander. So we don't really know the outcome of what this could potentially end up looking like. But it could just be a lot of finger pointing saying, look at what they're doing over there. We don't think that's morally right. We think that's highly illegal. So yeah, this strikes me as the kind of thing, not just the Activision Blizzard Microsoft merger. That kind of stuff is nearly public domain because we seem to cover it at every given opportunity. But this is the kind of stuff that I think gets done behind closed doors. And I feel like it's just, they're just trying to give it a little bit of breathing space, give it a little bit of oxygen, and then they can see where it goes from there. But I don't know how much we're going to end up hearing from this going forward.
Yeah, it's quite interesting. I mean, David said, what's it got to do with them? It's not their country or the US market. And it's quite interesting that when we're having a conversation about Xbox's ability to share with others, the US Senate are now starting to bring up conversations about how PlayStation shares with others in a different country. That's clearly been happening for a while, if this is the case. It's interesting that it's only just starting to come to fruition and being talked about now. It's almost like it benefits another party.
I feel like they're just putting the documents on the table and just walking away, but pointing at them at the same time as slowly walking backwards. Just to go, there might be something on the table there that you might want to take a little bit of a closer eye to. But yeah, I don't know how much of this that we're going to end up seeing going forward, but I do believe that it is going to get investigated.
Yeah, I mean, if they start to get investigated, I wouldn't be surprised if you start to get look, they're being investigated for things elsewhere, so they're worried about control of the market. Look, they're already forcing control of another market that if we change the goalposts, they own 98% of. It's like, it's 6 and 1, half a dozen the other. We had that story the other day about Xbox. Which one was it? What was it? There was one the other day where they Redfall. So they took over thingy and made Redfall just be Xbox only straight off the bat. It happens all the time. Xbox are buying Activision Blizzard so they can control the release of games. So they want Redfall to be Xbox exclusive because they own it. They want to influence that themselves. Just because they own it, it changes the conversation to be different from, we got 6 to 12 months exclusive because we signed it first, which strangulates the release window and so on. Bad. Like, taking an exclusive is bad. But buying a brand for that exclusives it's the same thing. You just own it. You're just spending a bigger chunk of money to do it for a longer period of time. So, yeah, this finger-pointing PlayStation. In business are businessmen. In ethics, shithouses. Microsoft, in business, are business people, not just men. And in ethics, are the biggest shithouses that have ever existed. So there is some sense of irony in this, but do I care? Not particularly, because what's happening with trade agreements and so on in Japan, and has been for a bunch of years, doesn't really matter in an American sense for me, apart from if they're saying it's jeopardizing Japan-US trade agreements, then okay, that's fine, but that doesn't influence the UK's decision because that's done by our CMA, the Competition and Markets Authorities. So that's a whole different horses for courses. So it feels for me like smear campaign stuff, which I don't like to see, but it's also good to sit there with a little brew and just watch the whole thing unfold. Just seeing how petty brands can be whilst also trying to talk about how nice they are. You know, look at how squeaky clean I am, whilst they're lobbing dirt on the other ones to make them look a little bit dirtier themselves. And then it just happens again the opposite way. So, yeah, we'll see where it goes. Okay, one final news story. I know we are well over, but one final news story is this. Andy Robinson at VGC. The Last of Us PC has been heavily criticised on release day for poor performance. If we are going to knock PlayStation down, I'd much rather it be seen on things like this rather than regulators and bodies with so much money it's unbelievable complaining that they aren't earning enough money because of another body with so much money it's unbelievable. I'm not asked about those conversations as such. This is more important. The Last of Us PC has been heavily criticised on release day for poor performance. The PC version has mostly negative reviews on Steam. Bearing in mind, this is a game that's had multiple releases, all high-fived unanimously, and a TV show that is the most watched TV show in history, according to numerous different stats. Obviously, you could probably throw one back that says it isn't, but the one I saw today was that its last episode, hands down, beat HBO/Sky's highest ever viewed episode, which until just the last couple of weeks was House of the Dragon. It smashed it recently and then smashes it again with The Last of Us. But The Last of Us Part 1's PC version has been heavily criticised on its release day for poor performance and frequent crashes. You get the idea from that. We don't really need to say anything more. The only thing I will add in then for the balance is the update. Update, Naughty Dog responds. So Naughty Dog has responded to criticism of the PC port and claimed it's investigating the reported issues. Embedded tweet says, The Last of Us Part 1 PC players, we've heard your concerns and our team is actively investigating multiple issues you've reported. We will continue to update you, but our team is prioritising updates and will address issues in upcoming patches. So if you're interested in picking up The Last of Us Part 1 for PC, maybe don't just yet. As we have always seen, I would stick my ICU hat on the line and say it'll get fixed. It will get fixed. But I'll also say just don't bother with it right now. From the looks of it, there was rumblings a couple of days ago that people, press and media, hadn't been given review copies the day before release day, which is already we've seen it. That's the cyberpunk sort of, ain't nobody got to see no fire if they can't see no fire. And it's like, yeah, but there's still a big old fire. Not if you can't see it. Ta-da! So, yeah, they clearly knew there was issues, and people have seen them, and they will fix them. Just like we said with CD Projekt, they will get round to it. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a lot quicker for Naughty Dog because it's bug fixing a game that already exists and works on a different platform. But for now, I'd probably skirt it. Thoughts, babe?
Yeah, it still baffles me that with all the good labeling that they've had recently, that something like this is going to slip through the net. It doesn't. The good stock, that's the word, that's the phrase I'm looking for. They've got such high praise at this moment in time, and yet they've managed to release something that's definitely subpar. Don't know why they've done it, but they've done it nonetheless.
Yeah, shame. It's a shame. After the TV series, if you haven't watched it, really, really good. The game's obviously really, really good. So it's a disservice. You don't put Naughty Dog's name on shit products, and it seems like that's what this is. It's not a shit game, but it is a shit port. And if it's a shit port because you can't play it, then it becomes a shit game. So it's unfortunate, but I believe in Naughty Dog, and I have no reason to question them, and I believe that they will fix this, just like we said with CD Projekt, and they are proving that over and over again with the updates, releases, and content. But yeah, expect this to get better on PC. Just might take some time, so leave it for now. Chaos Riot Zero says, lads, I'll read.
Hello.
How's things? How's the Famalam? Soon to be Famalam with an extra A in there. Famalam. It's bigger. Yeah, nice. While you answer that question, we're going to wrap things up. Thank you for joining us for another episode of The Scoop. If you missed it, we spoke about E3 or not, as the case may be. Ubisoft is no longer attending E3, and they're going to have their own event in June. Nintendo yesterday showed off 10 minutes of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Gameplay looks good. Dr. Disrespect is definitely moving to Twitch. Nope. Kick. Maybe. Don't know. Probably. Definitely not. We don't know. It's going somewhere, or he's not going somewhere. We'll let you know when we know what that is. At the moment, nobody really knows. Congress says Sony are doing bad business things, and Sony are doing some bad business things, at least bad business decisions, and that is releasing The Last of Us for PC when it's buggy as hell. So yeah, there you go. That's the news. Do feel free to join us tomorrow, 10 AM for the, well, ish. Let's be fair, ish. For the next episode of The Scoop. Myself and Bibby will be back for that. Just got a WhatsApp, even though I killed WhatsApp through Task Manager. I don't know how that's came through, but okay, nice, great. And another one. Great. Nice.
Kill it again.
Let's go. So yes, we will be back tomorrow. Before that, though, we'll be back tonight, 6:30, for some Chasing Crates with Mates. Myself, Lotus, Nietzsche, maybe Beans, TBC. We'll see. So do join us from 6:30 tonight for some PUBG if you want to have some fun times. But before that, bloody hell. God damn. All the messages. Before that, is there anything you'd like to add, Mr. Bibb?
Yes, thank you very much to each and every one of you who has joined us for today's episode of The Scoop. That's 3 down. Well, it's actually 2 down. 3 days gone, though. If you want to help shape the remaining 2 shows, there are 2 ways that you can do so. First of all, find us on social media. It is at Ice Cream Uploads across all major social media platforms, or alternatively, get involved with our Discord. If you're listening to this or watching it on any of our on-demand services, go into the description below. All the links that you require will be listed there, but only from you is the URL, plus your thoughts and impressions. We will then give you our thoughts and impressions on the very next show, which will be at what time tomorrow, Mr. Graham Day?
10 AM. Ish. David says, well, that shows the decline of TV. The Last of Us final episode had 8.2 million, but MASH had 105.97 million US TV figures. I mean, there was like one channel back then. Yeah. So, you know, so some differences. I'll take it with a pinch. 1 month to go? What's 1 month away? Nice. Enjoy the new arrival. I'm sure we'll speak before then, but if not, yeah, let's go, baby. Thank you to JMK for throwing in the socials. We appreciate that very much, but we are going to disappear. We've got a couple of bits to do before, well, Bibby leaves in 15 minutes. I've got a few more bits to do, but then we'll be back on 6:30 for Chasing Crates with Mates. So have yourselves a beautiful day. Stick around. We'll drop a raid on one of our friends. But until next time, Steve Frosty.